Hello and welcome back. My name is Professor Redwood. Last time we discussed West Kanto and its constituent species, so this time we shall move east to the metropolitan North Kanto. If you're new to the series, please watch the other episodes first, though this is not strictly necessary. Let's begin where we left off, heading east. Cerulean City is something of a hub for many trainers, into the remainder of Kanto coming from the west. Cerulean lies at the eastern foot of the Silver Mountains. It is home to the Cascade Badge, one of Kanto's 8 League badges. It is a city with an affinity for water, though not salt water from the sea, but fresh water from the mountains and the Cerulean River. Along the Cerulean River is the Cerulean Cave. Cerulean Cave is only available to be explored by expert trainers due to the dangerous creatures inside. Aptly then, for Cerulean's watery environment, let us discuss some of the various fish Pokémon that abound in Kanto's sea routes that we have yet to cover. The Golduck line. Golduck's line is comprised of Psyduck and Golduck, and are both water type. They belong to the Water 1 and Field Egg groups. Psyduck is an odd sort. It's where the phrase, "what an odd duck," is derived. They are seemingly confused and beleaguered at all times, but in fact they are quite adept. It's impossible to tell whether they are holding their heads due to pain, or because they are using some sort of power. Golducks stand at 5 feet tall and gain a jewel on their foreheads. Many assume that Golduck is psychic type due to its abilities, but this isn't so. It is merely able to learn a great many psychic abilities. It is an adept swimmer that occupies seaside areas. The Poliwrath line. Poliwag's line consists of Poliwag, who evolve into Poliwhirl, into either Poliwrath or Politoad. They are all water type, with Poliwrath uniquely possessing the fighting type. They are part of the Water 1 egg group. Poliwag are prey to many water-dwelling Pokémon, as well as occasionally bird types. They are clumsy on their feet, but their tails allow them to swim easily. Like the rest of their line, they have a swirl on their stomachs, which is the outline of their intestines. Poliwhirl grow out of their fins and gain arms. Poliwrath gain the fighting type and massive arms. They also stop being prey animals. Would you want to fight one of these? They have been known to be able to swim across oceans, and their wide backs make them excellent being surf companions. Politoad are interesting creatures. They are an evolution that evolved to adapt to the Johto region. Their skins are much thicker, but they retain a swirl on their stomachs. The larger their hair is, the more they are respected, and they are at the top of the Polyline's hierarchy. The Tentacruel line. Tentacool evolves into Tentacruel. Both are water poison type, and are in the Water 3 group. Tentacool are a common sight the world over in bodies of water. For this reason they have been dubbed the Zubat of the Sea, pestering trainers and boats alike. Fishermen in Hoenn and Kanto use special gloves to avoid their stinging acid. When they are not in the water for long periods of time, they shrivel and die, but can be sustained by Pokeballs in captivity. Tentacruel evolve only rarely, due to Tentacruel being so heavily preyed upon, but when they do, they turn from prey to predator. They grow until their environment can't sustain them, so deep-sea Tentacruel can grow to immense sizes. Their stinging beak also helps it catch prey. Krabby evolve into Kingler. They are both water type and belong to the Water 3 egg group. Kingler possesses a Gigantamax form. Krabby are small, from 10 centimeters to half a meter, but their claws are not to be scoffed at. It burrows in sand on beaches, so watch out while walking if you don't want to be clawed. Kingler are strong and deft. They begin to favor one claw, using it as either a club while closed or a deadly pincer while open. The claw, while powerful, is heavy, so it uses the other claw for more mundane activities to avoid tiring out. It preys on Tentacruel. Its Gigantamax form gives it a larger reach and a bubble foam beard. If you see one, contact the Coast Guard at once. The Seadra line. Horsey evolve into Seadra into Kingdra. They are water type, with Kingdra obtaining the dragon typing. They are part of the Water 1 and Dragon Egg groups. Horsey is a small creature. Its mouth doubles as an ink jet. Ink is spewed from it when it is in danger. It is omnivorous, eating both water plants and small bugs. In Hoenn, Horsey are far more aggressive and feed on surskit. It is not a fast swimmer, but they are hard to catch due to being able to move in any direction at will. Seadra were once thought to be the final evolution of Horsey, but in regions with clean water like Johto, they evolve. Seadra are much faster in the water. Curiously, the males raise their young instead of the females in this line. Kingdra is a regal Pokémon. Their mouths become narrow to allow ink to be used as a projectile instead of a smokescreen. They are found in deep oceans where it is clean and warm from vents. It's said this Pokémon can cause whirlpools, but this has never been observed. Goldeen line. Goldeen evolve into Seaking. They are both water type and belong to the Water 2 egg group. They once had an evolution known as Fincess that no longer exists. Goldeen are about 2 feet in length, and they are the prey of Pidgey, and in other regions, Pelipper and Wingull. In spite of this, they should not be trifled with, as their graceful appearance hides their hard, vicious head spike. While some call them the Water Queens, they are not all female. Sea King, on the other hand, are considered by some to be ugly. What nonsense. They have larger head spikes and vicious teeth, so any bird Pokémon looking to make them a meal ought to look out. Despite their large teeth, they are herbivorous. Fincess were a smaller version of Goldeen that were hunted heavily and thus became impractical. The line developed out of this pre-evolution. Magikarp line. Magikarp evolve into Gyarados. They are water type, with Gyarados gaining the flying type. Gyarados has a mega evolution who gains the dark type rather than flying. Magikarp, simply put, are largely pathetic. They are bred to be food for trainers with bird Pokémon. They are the prey of seabirds and even coastal Pokémon on land, and they can often be observed leaping onto land from streams, even into the nets of fishing boats. In spite of this, they are very hardy and can live in freshwater and saltwater. They breed in large numbers, and if they live long enough, they grow very powerful. Gyarados, on the other hand, are fearsome. Only very few Magikarp evolve to be Gyarados, fewer still in the wild. It is painfully difficult to train Magikarp to this stage, so if you see a trainer with a Gyarados, look in awe. It is said they are capable of raising cities, but this is a myth, in spite of their aggressive natures. Mega Gyarados are a unique mega evolution that in the process affects its brain, causing the Gyarados to single-mindedly pursue enemies until it devolves. They are banned from tournaments due to being far, far too vicious, their rampages resulting in Pokémon's deaths. Lapras. Lapras is a water ice type and belongs to the Monster and Water 1 groups. It has a Gigantamax form. Lapras are a staple of Kanto. Kanto's oceans remain pollution-free due to the Silph breeding these Pokémon for sea travel. They are hardy and strong, and in spite of being in the monster group, selective breeding has made them docile. They are also capable of understanding and replicating human speech. They were endangered in the wild until the efforts of Silph. Its G-Max form is used to transport cargo. Cloyster line. Shelder evolve into Cloyster. They are a water type, and Cloyster gain the ice type. They are part of the Water 3 egg group. Shelder are small, only a foot long, their hard shells obscuring their bodies, which are black with white eyes and a long tongue. It swims by clamping and releasing its shell, licking nutrients from coral reefs. Cloyster's shells gain quite a bit of mass and are harder to pierce or chip. They live in the seabed near Kingdra. Though they aren't preyed upon due to their hard shells, they are eaten by scavengers, leaving their shells littering the seafloor. Their mass can grow to be as large as 5 feet wide and 300 pounds. Next, let's stay in Cerulean City and explore the Cerulean Cave. Within this large cave, hollowed out by water from the Cerulean River, there are many species in more sophisticated forms, such as Arbok, Raichu, Parasect, and Kadabra. Further in, there are some species that thrive in the depths, like Rhydon and Slowbro. Most of these Pokémon have other natural habitats, some quite far away, so it's unknown why they congregate here in such high number. There are many explanations for this, but the most plausible one has to do with Cerulean Cave's most common population, Ditto. Ditto are normal type and belong to the unique Ditto egg group. Ditto's abilities are unique, able to replicate any other Pokémon or object with its squishy amorphous body. As such, they are prized by breeders for being able to make eggs with any Pokémon that can have eggs. What's more intriguing than their biology, however, is their origin. It's thought that they were created by the Cinnabar group in the Pokémon Mansion as a failed experiment, dumped unceremoniously in the Cerulean Cave, which was once inhabited. It is thought that so many rare Pokémon occupy this cave due to the Ditto who transform permanently and retain the DNA of the Pokémon they transform into. At one time, Ditto possessed a different evolution known as Ditto 2, but this evolution became redundant. Lickitung line. Lickitung evolve into Licky. They are both normal type and belong to the monster egg group. Historically, they had a different evolution in Johto, known as Lick King, but they have stopped evolving into this form, for some reason. Lickitung are only 4 feet tall, but their tongues are nearly double that. To compensate for the weight of their tongues, their tails are very heavy. Its tongue is different to a human's, possessing a sensitive range of taste buds that is used to identify things. The saliva is particularly slick. Licky are a common sight in Sinnoh, their bodies longer and their tails shrink. If you ask me, it's a hell of a downgrade. They're a tad ugly. Still, their tongues are even more astronomically long, the record length being 82 feet. It's unknown how they do this, because presumably no one wants to reach inside of Licky's throat. Lick King were once an evolution of Lickitung from the Johto region. Along with tongues, they had large caps as well as whiskers. It's likely they ceased evolving into this form due to its redundancy, gaining no new strength or abilities in this form. North of Cerulean City are routes 24 and 25, a pass that leads down to the foot of the Silver Mountains and to the sea where the Cerulean River spills into. It is here where there is another Pokémon lab, the home of the Bill family, a close family friend who studies technology such as the Pokéball and PC systems. The usual species reside here, namely Pidgey, Caterpie, and Magikarp, and Poliwag in the rivers, as well as some unique species such as Abra and Venonat. The Alakazam line. Abra evolve into Kadabra into Alakazam. They are all psychic type and belong to the human-like egg group. Alakazam has a mega evolution. Abra is a small Pokémon that will use the move Teleport to cause it to evade danger. It is a stoic Pokémon who doesn't move much. It uses a trait that many psychic Pokémon have, known as Psycho Operation. Instead of muscles, Abra and other Pokémon who utilize Psycho Operation use telekinesis to move their body parts. Kadabra also use Psycho Operation, but are capable of moving normally, also able to move other things nearby with their minds. They stand about 4 feet tall and are sometimes mistaken for children. Alakazam do not evolve in the wild, only when trained. They stand 5 feet tall, but rarely use their legs to move, their Psycho Operation being strong enough for them to float. It uses tools to amplify its abilities, sometimes spoons, usually metallic. They're immensely smart. Mega Alakazam gain a jewel on their heads that many Pokémon have that gives them mysterious foresight. Venomoth line. Venomoth evolved from Venonat. They're poison bug type and belong to the bug egg group. Venonat have compound eyes that do not see very well, instead moving by their antennae. They are nocturnal and feed on sleeping bug Pokémon at night. They adore light sources and can be seen congregating around lamps. Venomoth are also nocturnal, but their eyes are more developed. They are slow in the air but have a wingspan of 5 feet. Its wings are covered in dust from pollen, as well as natural powders that can cause problems in humans and Pokémon. Trainers who use Venomoth are required to use chemical treatments to keep their wings from spreading these toxins. East of Cerulean City is Route 9, a hilly route another river runs through, the East Kantonian River. Here there are no unique species that have gone undiscussed. Along the East Kantonian River, however, is the power plant. Route 9 connects south towards Lavender Town via the Rock Tunnel. The power plant, a staple of the region, sadly, is in its twilight years. It is a massive source of pollution in the river, causing problems for the local wildlife. Happily, though, its decommissioning means that it will soon be repurposed into a home for electric Pokémon in the area. Muck have also been employed and dispatched to clean up the refuse. Some of these species are slated for preservation and will be listed below. The Magnezone line. Magnemite evolves into Magneton into Magnezone. They are all electric steel type and belong to the mineral group. They are all genderless Pokémon. Magnemite are Pokémon made of metal, using the electromagnets that they can turn on and off at will. They are common in power plants and congregate in places with unique magnetic fields. They are often found in rings, completing electric circuits. Magneton evolve when Magnemite congregate and lose their individuality. It's a strange process, but they all stick together and begin thinking as one. Magnezone are Magneton who grow to be larger and more unified. Their bodies fuse together and they gain an antennae that can detect their surroundings. They are very heavy, usually around 400 pounds, but can levitate using magnetism. The Electrode line. Voltorb evolve into Electrode. They are both electric type and belong to the mineral group. They are genderless. Voltorb evolved fairly recently. They are the same organism as Geodude, who evolved to reside in the shells of old or broken Pokeballs. As such, instead of rock abilities, they have electric ones. Like their common ancestor Geodude, their line can explode. Electrode are powerful and something of a nuisance in urban areas, siphoning power from homes. They also explode often, and are treated as pests. The Electabuzz line. Elekid evolves into Electabuzz into Electivire. They are all electric type and belong to the human type egg group. Elekid are common in the service of electric companies. They are used as generators to test functionality as well as feeding on excess electricity in these areas. They rotate their arms to generate electricity. Electabuzz are found in power plants helping employees. During storms, they love being struck by lightning. Electivire evolve using a device known as the Electorizer. They are common in the Sinnoh region. They're about 6 feet high and very strong, the wires on their backs connecting to power lines. They are used on crews that repair downed lines and broken dangerous machinery. There is a legend in the area surrounding the power plant that says the legendary bird Zapdos has been spotted in the skies. Zapdos, of course, will be discussed in a later chapter on legendary Pokémon. The nearby rock tunnel contains the usual cavernous area for species. Geodude, Machop, Zubat. It is also home to Onix, who is theorized to have started the tunnels in ancient times. The Steelix line. Onix evolve into Steelix. Steelix has a mega evolution. Onix is the rock ground type, and Steelix's forms are steel ground. They all belong to the mineral egg group. Onix are common underground. They span from small sizes to nearly 30 feet long. They are mineralvores, eating rocks and soil. Their excrement fertilizes the ground. Above ground, they can perch on their tails, being very powerful. Steelix are about as long, 30 feet, but are much more sturdy. They evolve after forming a metal coat, so they're only seen in some areas. Steelix's massive jaws allow them to plunge through rock, and they are used in the mining industry. Mega Steelix gain crystalline protrusions and are even stronger. South on Route 9, past the rock tunnel, is Lavender Town. Lavender Town is home to the Pokémon Tower. In days past, Kanto had a tradition. When a Pokémon passed away, its trainer brings it to the Pokémon Tower to sleep. The lower floors of the tower see gravestones and mausoleums, where the upper floors house countless urns where the dead Pokémon of long past sleep. Pokémon are no longer taken here, but the place has spiritual significance to the region and is a heavily visited tourist destination. Sadly, there have been plans to convert the tower into something else over the years, including Radio Tower. Within the tower are 2 unique species, Cubone and Ghastly. The Marowak line. Cubone evolve into Marowak. Marowak has an Alolan form that will be discussed later. They are all ground type and belong to the monster group. It is said that Cubone wear the skulls of their mothers, but this is a myth. In fact, their skulls are actually an exoskeleton. They are very emotional and cry easily, clinging to their mothers. Despite this disposition, they are not a baby Pokémon and can breed. Marowak also possess the same exo-skull, using bones and sticks as weapons. It is particularly effective at throwing. They work together collectively to lead their packs. The Gengar line. Ghastly evolve into Haunter into Gengar, who have a Mega Evolution and Gigantamax form. They are all Ghost Poison type and belong to the Amorphous Egg group. Ghastly are largely made of gas, floating above the ground. Strong winds can cause this Pokémon to entirely dissipate. Haunter do solidify, but they're still able to float about, even slipping through walls. They lick their foes, and their saliva has a paralyzing agent. Gengar lose the ability to float, but are still amorphous enough to pass through walls and doors. They do not evolve in the wild. They are said to be the shadows of Clefable, or their dark counterpart, due to their affinity with the moon, but this is unsubstantiated. Mega Gengar are said to be able to traverse to other dimensions, gaining an eye-like gem on their heads. Gigantamax Gengar have voracious appetites and massive mouths, and they are banned due to eating their foes. South from Lavender Town leads to South Kanto, so for now let us head west towards Saffron City. Saffron City is the jewel of the Kanto region. It is the home to countless houses, the Marsh Badge Gym, a fighting dojo, and it is home to the Sylph Company, which we've discussed previously. But they are responsible for the vast majority of scientific advancements in the region and the world over, as well as efforts in conjunction with the Pokémon League to spearhead conservation efforts in Kanto. Sadly, though, their HQ retains no natural Pokémon species, so we must move north to Route 5. Route 5 is the final area in North Kanto, and many species so far we've discussed. Say it with me now. Pidgey, Rattata, Bellsprout, etc. Meowth also make their homes here. The Persian line. Meowth evolve into Persian. They have a Galarian form and different Galarian evolutions to be discussed later, same with their lowland versions. Meowth has a Gigantamax form. They are all normal type and belong to the Field group. In the past, Meowth had a pre-evolution named Meowsy. Meowth stand on two legs. They're very intelligent and can replicate human speech, though this is rare. All of them love riches and collect coins, and sometimes stealing them. The gem on their heads is part of their bodies, and their Gigantamax form is known as Long Cat. Persian are quadrupedal, possessing a gem in their heads, the same gem as Mega Alakazam and Golduck that unlocks mysterious precognitive abilities. Despite its elegance, it is petty and somewhat cruel. It feeds on Pidgey and Ekans, being an apex predator, despite being largely domesticated. Meowsy were a baby Pokémon that ceased being born long ago. These pre-evolutions belied some mystical abilities, and they had gems that levitated around their heads. They were heavy sleepers, and it's unknown why they stopped appearing. And with that ends another chapter. Next time we will discuss South Kanto as well as the sea, with the various islands that lie off the coast, which will complete our exploration of the Kanto region. Once again, I am Professor Redwood, and I bid you adieu for now.